Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. Yeah, thank you for joining us to find out more about the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program here in Cambridge. My name's Ian, and I'm the Communications Coordinator for the program here in Cambridge, and I'm joined by my colleague Tabitha, who's the Program Director. So Tabitha is going to appear on screen towards the end of the session to answer some questions. So we would ask that if you can save your questions to the end of the session, that would be brilliant, just because we know that often lots of the stuff that we're asked is covered in the presentation. So let's just check that it's not covered before that, please. So the purpose of this session then is twofold. So first, we're going to give you an introduction to the program here in Cambridge and tell you a bit about why we think it's quite a special program. And then second, we're going to give a quick overview of how to apply, touching on a few of the kind of key bits that we feel need a bit more explanation. So the application window is already open. I'm sure that lots of you will have started an application already, which is brilliant, but there is still time if you haven't. So let's get straight into it. So the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program, then. So this is part of the Foundation's Young Africa Work Strategy. And this is all about enabling 30 million young people to access dignified and fulfilling work by 2030 to sort of address the lack of access to employment among young people on the continent. So it's a huge commitment by the foundation, with only over 40,000 Mastercard Foundation scholars already across the world, and it's really about giving young people the opportunities and the skills they need to become transformational leaders in their chosen field. So Cambridge is one of 29 institutional partners across the world delivering the program, and some institutions focus on undergrad education, and others, like Cambridge, focus on postgrad education. So our program in Cambridge, then, we established our program in 2022, and our focus is firmly on postgrad education. It's master's courses only. We're on our fourth cohort of scholars at the moment. So these guys arrived in September, and we've got 69 scholars with us this year, studying 18 different countries, and sorry, from 18 different countries, studying something like 41 different courses. So there's real diversity in terms of these guys' background, where they come from, their expertise and their perspectives that they bring to Cambridge as well, which is something we're really proud of. So our program themes are climate resilience and sustainability. And we fully recognize that these are huge, complex challenges that require all sorts of different expertise to tackle them. So that means that you can apply for pretty much any full-time master's course available at Cambridge. There are 4 exceptions to this, which I'll come on to a bit later, but generally you can apply for any full-time masters. So what's covered? So this is a fully funded scholarship. So we aim to cover everything you need to thrive, to really enjoy your time here and get the most out of it as well. So that's things like the course fee, some of those big expenses, the course fee, the monthly living allowance, but also some of the slightly smaller things as well, like your travel to and from the airport. So clearly, if you do apply and you're given a place and you come to Cambridge, then studying for your masters will be your #1 priority. But I think all of us involved like to think of this program as so much more than a scholarship. And that's because there are lots of opportunities to develop, to grow, and to kind of learn more broadly than that. So you will become part of a network of young African leaders. So you'll form really sort of close bonds with your peers in your cohort, and you'll first get to know them during an orientation to life in Cambridge, which happens before your courses start. So generally, it's the end of September when all of the scholars arrive, and then courses start in October. And you have some time to get together and kind of get to know each other before your courses start. Then when the term starts, we put on monthly socials to give scholars a chance to come together and catch up. And there's also this weekend retreat, which happens in January. So this photo was taken in Norfolk on the coast, and it's a really nice opportunity for scholars to get out of Cambridge and see another part of the UK. So second, developing leadership potential is a really core component of the program, and you will receive leadership training each term that you're here with us. And this is developed with the Cambridge Institute for Sustainability Leadership, and it's specifically for Mastercard Foundation scholars focusing on leadership in the African context. Next, you'll get the chance to start or grow your own social venture if you already have one. And then finally, there's a real focus on transitions. So supporting scholars as they think about what they want to do next and then move on either into the world of work or to further study, or if they do a placement, for example, we can help and provide support with all of those different routes. So we actually encourage scholars to start thinking about this from pretty much day one. You know, as soon as you arrive, you're encouraged to think about what's next. I think that's helpful because time passes so fast when you are here. And you can have regular catch-ups with our transitions coordinator, Tracy, throughout the year so that, you know, when your graduation comes, you're set, you've got a plan and you're ready to go. Okay, so the next few slides then are just a very quick overview of the application process, which is open at the moment. And the first thing I wanted to say on this is that the application for the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program is built into your courses application. So it's not a separate application. Don't expect to see something separate. It's built into the main course application. So the first step then, and it's a bit of an obvious one, but you need to figure out which course you want to apply for. So you do that using the postgraduate course directory, and you can filter that in the way that I've done here. So you can filter by master's courses only. I've selected all because both taught and research courses are eligible. And I've selected full-time at the top there because it has to be a full-time master's between 9 and 12 months to be eligible for our scholarship. So once you've found your course, you have a read. So each of the courses has one of these course profiles, and you can find all the details you need. So course length, and importantly, entry requirements as well. So once you have looked at your courses details, you can then check that your qualifications meet your course's entry requirements. And you do that using the postgraduate international qualifications checker. So you use the URL at the bottom of the screen, and then select your country from the drop down, and it will return the equivalent to a high 2-1 and a first class degree in the UK, because that's generally what you'll need to study a master's in Cambridge, either a high 2-1 or a first class. So when you've done all of those things, it's time to get started. So you start your application by clicking, I'm just going to jump back a bit. So yeah, you click this apply now button in the top right of your course profile. And when you do that, you'll be encouraged to set up an account. So you can come back to your application, you can work on it over time. Once you're logged in, you will also get this helpful reminder of deadlines. So there are two deadlines for each course, the course deadline and the funding deadline. And it's the funding deadline that you'll need to work to be eligible for the Scholars Program here. Once you have set up your account and you've started your application, now is the time to submit your application fee waiver request. So I'm going to spend a bit more time on this because I know it's a fairly complicated process, and it can be a bit confusing. So the first thing to say is that all eligible applicants will receive an application fee waiver. So there's usually a fee of £85 to submit your application for postgrad study in Cambridge. If you're applying for this program, and you're from Africa and you meet your chosen course's entry requirements, you will not have to pay that. The only difference is there are two ways to access the fee waiver. So if you're from one of the countries that's listed on the screen now, you don't have to do anything. It is applied automatically, so you just won't be asked to pay the application fee when you go to submit your application. If, however, you're from an African country which isn't listed here, you will need to request the application fee waiver. And you'll do that by filling in a form and attaching your transcript and a copy of your passport. So you can access that form either by scanning the QR code on the slide now, or by it's on our website. You can navigate to that form easily from our website as well. I'm just going to go over that again, just for clarity. So everyone is eligible for the application fee waiver as long as you're from Africa and you meet your chosen courses entry requirements. If you're from one of these listed countries, you don't have to do anything. It's automatically applied. If you're not from one of these countries, you need to submit a form to request that application fee waiver. So the deadline for doing this is 15th of November. So that's coming up pretty quickly. So if you do plan to apply, we suggest opening your application as soon as possible, because once you've opened your application, you'll be able to submit your application fee waiver. Hope that was clear. So next then, and I know lots of you will have opened application already and you will have had a quick look at the application process. But for those who haven't, this is a breakdown of what it looks like. So there are 5 sections to the application portal, each with multiple subsections underneath. And a lot of this is quite self-explanatory. So we're not going to go into all of this on this call. We're just going to touch on 4 sections in bold that we think are perhaps need a bit more explanation. So starting with the first section of the application, which is about you, you'll be asked to choose a college during that section. So Cambridge is a collegiate university, meaning you'll be a member of one of 31 different colleges. And this is where you will live, you'll socialize, and you'll have some of your small group teaching sessions as well. All of the colleges have their own websites, and there's lots of information on that out there which will help you choose one. But we recommend bearing in mind these 3 important factors. So first, cost, and this is possibly the most important factor because the cost can vary quite significantly across the different colleges in Cambridge in terms of the rent that you pay. And this rent comes out of your monthly living allowance. So we just encourage you to make sure that you're not, having to use all of that for your rent. Next then, facilities. So we recommend having a look at what makes each college unique and what's special about the college that you're looking at that time. So there are some colleges, for example, that are female only, if that's important to you. There are some that are for more mature students specifically. Some of the colleges have incredible, world-class sports facilities on site. Many of them have chapels on site. So just have a think about what's important to you, how you might want to spend a bit of your downtime and bear those things in mind when choosing a college. And then third, location. So lots of the colleges are really, really central, right in the middle of town. Others will be a short walk or a bike or a cycle to your department or into town. So just have a look at that and think about if you want to be right in the center of town or if you're happy to be a little bit further out. Okay, the next thing we wanted to flag is the reference request section of the application. So you will be required to submit 2 academic or professional references. And the way this works is that you go into the portal and you add the contact details of your reference, and then you click a button and it will send that person an email asking them to log in and submit a reference. So these references need to be submitted by your referees by your course's funding deadline. So the funding deadline is generally either at the beginning of December or at the beginning of January. So this is something that we encourage you to sort of get ahead with as soon as you start your application. Think about who these people are and send them that request so that it gives them a bit of time ahead of your funding deadline. So you do not have to wait to submit your application until your references are in. So if you're ready to submit, you can go ahead and do so, and then you'll still have access to the portal, so you can log in and check if your references have come in. Hopefully they will do, but if they haven't, you can change your referee or you can send nudges to them from within the portal. Okay, this is a biggie. So English language. So all international students are required to provide evidence of English proficiency to study in Cambridge. There is one small exception, which I'll come on to in just a minute. But most commonly, This is in the form of IELTS or TOEFL results. Although applicants from some countries may be able to do something called the Cambridge Language Centre Assessment instead, if they want to do so. So you'll be given the option to do the Cambridge Language Centre Assessment if you're offered a place on your chosen course and if you're from one of the eligible countries. And if you haven't already provided evidence in the form of IELTS or TOEFL results. Those are the options, IELTS, TOEFL, or for some countries, you can do the Cambridge Language Centre Assessment. The good news is you don't have to provide evidence to apply. This comes afterwards. So if you're offered a place on your chosen course, then you'll need to submit that documentation by the 31st of July. If that happens to you, so you're given a place and you haven't already provided it, we can help you with providing that evidence. So if you're going for IELTS, we can share study materials. We can send you a voucher to cover the cost of taking the test. And if you have to travel to another country to take the test, then we can often help with those costs as well. So it really shouldn't be a barrier to applying. Final thing I wanted to say on language and IELTS specifically is that there are several students, more than 10 students every year who apply for a place and they're given a place on their chosen course and they are given a place on the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program, but then they don't have IELTS, they don't pass it in time. So it's fiendishly difficult, I know. So we just encourage you not to take passing for granted and give that the necessary kind of care and attention. That's a quick list of the List B countries. So these are the ones that if you're from one of these countries, then you may be eligible to take the Cambridge Language Centre Assessment instead of IELTS or TOEFL. But again, you will be directed to that by your department if you're offered a place and you haven't already provided this evidence. Okay. Brilliant. So the next thing, another important one is the funding application section of the application. So when you get to this section, you'll be asked if you wish to apply for university funding. You'll click yes, you do wish to apply. And as long as you're eligible, so you're from an African country and you hit your chosen course's entry requirements, then you will see the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program listed in the opportunities. Once you click on it, you will be asked to provide a two-page document explaining your career or education history, how the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship will contribute to your trajectory, and how you hope to contribute to the scholarship goal of sustainable futures in Africa. So this is your chance then to link your chosen course to the program themes. This is your opportunity to speak directly to the program team as opposed to your course and department. So what I just wanted to sort of give some reassurance here around those program themes. So again, we think about these themes of climate resilience and sustainability broadly. We aim to approach these complex challenges from all angles. So please don't think that if you're not planning to apply for conservation or something with sustainability in the course title, that you're not eligible. That's not the case. All we want you to do is have a think about how these themes can be approached within your chosen field. So what does sustainability mean for a doctor, if that's what you want to do? What does it mean to an engineer, a mathematician? How do you apply these themes and contribute to sustainable futures within your chosen field? So apart from these links, we really want to hear about your leadership potential. So that's not necessarily direct leadership experience. And you can talk about any and all sort of leadership experience you have, whether you've taken on additional responsibilities, for example, or whether you have led projects. All of that is applicable and relevant. So please do share. Then finally, we would love to hear about your plans. So what do you want to do after graduating? And how will that create a ripple effect which benefits other people? Okay. So I'm just going to finish by answering three of the questions that we get asked most frequently. So Again, if you do have questions, maybe just hang on to them for 3, 4 more minutes and see if they're covered. So the first one then is, which courses can I apply for? And as I mentioned earlier, you can apply for any full-time master's course apart from these four. So accountancy, the MBA, corporate law, and finance. Can I apply for multiple courses? So technically, yes, you can, but we really wouldn't recommend it. So as we've seen already, the application process is long, it's quite demanding, and there's lots of supporting documents and evidence required. So our advice on this is to decide which course you're most suited to and which one you really want to do, and then make that one application as strong as you possibly can. And then the final thing to say on this then is that you'll only receive one application fee waiver. So if you do go on to apply for more than one course, you will have to pay the £85 for each course after the first one. Lastly, then, so when will I hear back? So it's a two-stage process. So first, your application goes to your chosen department, and they review all of the applications and typically send offer letters in February. And then all of those applications that are successful come through to our team, to the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program team, and they're reviewed looking at both the course application and the scholarship statement. And then we typically send offer letters in March or early April. So usually early April, I think. And then after that, if you're offered a place, you'll have until the 31st of July to submit any outstanding documents, and typically that includes evidence of English proficiency. Brilliant. So that's all from me. Just going to leave you with a few resources. So the first one is our website. Please do go and have a look. There's a really handy page on there called How to Apply, which lists the steps that I've shown you today. Second is the application's email address. If you have a question which we haven't covered, either on our website or today. Then there are two QR codes. So the one on the left is a brochure, which again just gives a bit more detail on what's involved and what we offer, as well as some nice sort of commentary and quotes from alumni. And then the right-hand QR code is the website of the postgraduate study. It's the postgraduate study website. So lots of information on there on all of the different courses available, how to choose a college, what supporting documents you'll need, all of that information. So please do have a look at that. Thank you for listening. I hope that's been helpful. So I'm now going to pass over to Tabitha to go through a few of the questions that we've seen coming up in the chat. So I know there'll be some repeats. So I think we're going to cover off themes broadly, and we'll aim to cover as many of those as possible. So Tabitha, if I can ask you to jump in now, please.
Sorry, I was just having a bit of a problem. I'm on a different machine. Sorry if you can't see me. Let me just start answering the questions while I try and see whether I can get my video working.
Thank you.
Oh, wonderful.
I can see you now. Brilliant. Thanks,
I've
Tabitha.
seen a few of the questions. I put some links on the chat. If you look further up on the chat, I put a link for the course directory. I put a link about application fee and fee waiver, and I put a list of the countries that can do the Cambridge English language. So it's all there. The application link and all those links are already there. Somebody has asked about the courses that can be done. Can I get a PhD scholarship? No. So at the moment in the Cambridge program, the only scholarships that are offered are masters, and they are masters for courses that are between 9 months and 12 months. So it has to be something under a year and under. So we don't offer masters for part-time master. We don't offer scholarships for part-time masters, 2-year masters, or for PhD, or even for undergraduate. We only offer for 9-month to 12-month master's program full-time. Someone asked about the format of the essay for the scholarship. We don't have a set format. So don't worry about the font and the font size and the pitch, whatever. Just do what is sensible for you, something reasonable. We don't have a set format that we insist that scholars use, and that is part of the way we'll know a little bit more about you. When it comes to automatic fee waiver, we've shown you the list of countries, and I put the link on the chat for countries that get automatic fee waiver. So when you're doing your application, just go ahead and complete your application, and you will not be asked to pay an application fee. Just make sure that your country is on the list of countries that are eligible for an automatic fee waiver. Otherwise, you'll need to fill an application and you will get a fee waiver. Somebody was asking about graduating in 2025 and whether they can apply. Yes, as long as your transcripts will be ready by July. So by July of next year, you need to have met the conditions for your offer, part of which is that your transcripts are ready. So if you can do that, that's fine. If not, we are still offering the scholarship next year. The last year for offering scholarships is 2029. So we are still offering scholarships every year. So you don't have to feel that if I don't do it now, you're done. You will still be able to apply next year. Somebody was asking to contact us. Ian, perhaps you can put an email on the chat so that people can contact us. I'm not going to directly talk to you on WhatsApp. We have an email through which you're able to.
Yeah, it's on the screen now, actually. The application's email is on the screen.
Yes. So please use that email. Yeah. Okay. I'll try and find more questions.
Thank you.
Ian, can go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me jump in and try and answer a couple in the meantime. Do I need an undergraduate degree to apply? Yes, you do. It's master's courses only in Cambridge. There are, of course, universities which offer undergrad scholarships through the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program, but it's masters only here. Where in Zambia can I take the Cambridge language assessment? So it's not an in-country thing. That's generally it's an online assessment. So you don't need to worry about travel for that. Is there a word limit for scholarship essays? Yeah, it's a 2-page document you'll be asked to submit there. So not a specific word limit, but just 2-page in length. I'm just scrolling up now. So qualities can make an applicant stand out. It's a really good question. So I mentioned this ripple effect idea. So something that our team is very keen on is your plans and how you plan to use the experiences that you and expertise that you kind of build here. So generally we're looking for applicants that will use this experience to go on and benefit others. Or benefit their community, their home country, Africa more broadly, in the fields of climate resilience or sustainability. And I just want to clarify that on the program theme. So it's not climate resilience and sustainability as one. You can separate those two and speak directly to climate resilience or sustainability if you want to do that.
Maybe I can take a few more.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So people are still wondering whether, I come from Kenya, I come from this country, I studied in English, do I still have to do the English language? Yes. So it doesn't matter which country you're from, it doesn't matter that you've studied English from nursery school or the university, the English requirement is there for everybody. So the only difference is which test you will do. So we said the ones from List B and the List B, I put it on the chat. If you're in one of those countries, you'll do a Cambridge in-house assessment, which is an online assessment. And if not, you have to do IELTS or TOEFL. So you must do an English test. Irrespective of where you're from. Other people have asked, can I apply to other universities, Mastercard Foundation Program? Yes, you can go to the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program and you'll find a list of various universities that you can apply for. So it's not just, we have Oxford, there's Edinburgh, there are universities in Canada, the universities on the African continent, so University of Makerere, UCT, and Ghana all have Mastercard Foundation scholarships, both PhD and masters, whereas all the universities in Europe and Canada only give master scholarships only. So you can have a look at that. Someone was asking if I've done a master's abroad. Can I qualify? we are quite specific about the people who can. So you've done a master's on the African continent, for example, and finished it, you can still apply for a master's here in Cambridge, because some courses might actually require you to have done a little bit of research on the continent before coming to do your master's, so that you can pick up. Because as you know, the courses are very short, between 9 months and 12 months. But if you've done a master's abroad, we usually look to, that means that unless if you, so I think somebody said they hadn't finished, so you can still apply if you haven't finished. But if you finished a master's abroad, then it doesn't make sense. Somebody was also asking, I want to do a master's, and can you help us transition into another master's? It doesn't make sense why you'd want to do one master and then another one, because that takes away a scholarship from somebody else who's going to do a fresh master's. So if you've already done a master's in Cambridge, we will give transition support, and the transition is in terms of whether you want to do a PhD or you want to do, we assist people in getting internships and placements, and give you some support when it comes to letters to get work and to get placements and internships, especially on the African continent. And for PhDs, we do offer support when you're here doing your master's. We do help you. We get mentors to come and help you make a good PhD application. So we can do that. But we wouldn't support you to do a master's in Cambridge and then do another master's in Cambridge. We're not going to support that, because we do want other people to have that opportunity. Ian, maybe you've got some more questions?
Yes. Yes, I have. So, if I did an undergrad in business and I want to pursue a master's in education, will my background weaken the application? I think that's all about how you tell your story, to be honest. So I'm sure there are lots of things that you learn during that undergrad degree that will benefit you going forwards, and perhaps give you a fresh and different perspective as you move into your masters. So it's about how you sell that experience, but I don't think it should necessarily weaken your application personally. Can I apply to multiple universities under the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program? Yes. English. So this is an interesting one. So someone has asked about the fact that they did an undergrad degree, I think, at a university in the US. So I mentioned earlier that there is this one exception to providing English proficiency evidence, and that is if you have recently, so I think within the last few years, studied at one of these countries, which UK Visas and Immigration call a List A country, I think, and the US is on that list. So I'd suggest that you have a look at the language requirements information on the postgrad study website. But you may well not have to provide language evidence if you did a 3-year course in the US in English within the last few years. There aren't many countries on that list, just as an aside. So it's generally limited to the US. I think there are a couple of countries in the Caribbean and Central America. So those are the only exceptions if you've recently studied at undergrad level in those countries.
Okay, I'll take a few questions
Thank you.
as you see, Ian.
Thanks,
Somebody
Doctor.
has asked about online courses. So all the courses that are offered in Cambridge are all residential, so you need to be here to do the courses. But if for some reason you find that you're unable to come, you can apply to Edinburgh University. So Edinburgh University offers online masters, and they give the same certificate as people who are doing residential. So if you, for some reason, you can't travel, but you still want to study, please consider going to the Edinburgh website. They have a Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, and you'll be able to study there online. Someone called Daniel Ayer. I'll say, please get in touch. You said that you got an application fee for a course that is currently not running this year or something like that. So please get the email that Ian is going to share, and then we can discuss further, because your case is unique. If you've applied for an application waiver and the course is not available, it's a rare occurrence, but please get in touch through the email that Ian has sent. Someone said the refugee, you're a refugee and seeking to apply. We do encourage refugee, people internally displaced, people living with a disability to please make an application. This is one I think that the Mastercard Foundation is very keen on opening opportunities, being inclusive. So if you sit in any of those categories, please do apply, and we will help you as much as you can to come here as a refugee. One thing we do not encourage, I think you talked about seeking asylum. We would not encourage that on the program because, as you're aware, we are living in the UK with a lot of issues from the Home Office. So we would not want you to come here in the hope of seeking asylum. That's not going to be possible. But we're happy to encourage you to come and study and return and work. Somebody asked, what is the interview scope? Now, as you're aware, there are hundreds of, tens, about close to 200 master's courses being offered. So we cannot really tell you this is the scope of the interview because it differs from department to department. So that is a question that we're unlikely to answer. What we would say is to ask you to be very honest and to be very clear and very prepared for the interview. We would ask if you do get to the point of having an interview, you can talk to us in the program, and we can, help you where we can. So please do let us know if you get to the point of an interview and you're struggling. Over to you, Ian.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tabitha. Right. So I've had a couple of questions which I don't immediately know the answer to. So I'm going to ask those people to send an email to the application's email address, which is listed here on the screen. So the first one of those was I've put in for my application fee waiver already, and I've been given that, but I want to change course. Can I do that? I'm not sure. Please send us an email and we can look into that, unless you know the answer, Tabitha. No.
Please
Great.
send an email here.
Yeah, please. And secondly, can I change my scholarship statement after I'm assuming this is after submission. So this person wants to go in and update their scholarship statement. Again, I'm not sure of the answer. It's a great question. So please, if you can send us that in an email, we'll get back to you. Are there certain classes or courses that you need to study to be eligible? Yes, there are. If I can jump back into the presentation, I can show you which ones. So it's any full-time master's course between 9 and 12 months, apart from these four on the screen. So any apart from these four. I've submitted my fee waiver. Will I get notified if it's not accepted? Yes, you will. So you'll get notified either way. And I think the guys are trying to work to 5 days on this. There's lots and lots to get through, so please do be patient with them. But yes, you'll hear either way. Is there an age restriction on the program? Not in Cambridge. So we know that there is for some programs around the world, but for the UK and for Cambridge, there is no upper age limit for this opportunity. And then final one from me, is there a limit to the number of scholars each year? So it's a good question. There is, but we're still aiming to increase the number of scholars that we have with us every year at the moment. So the upper limit would be about 80, I think. We're currently on 69 this year. Last year was 58. So we're still building at the moment, but we don't want to go too much above sort of 80 scholars in a year, because that would mean that we can't provide the same level of support and sort of have those one-to-one relationships that we think are so important. So it won't go up much higher than that. Tabitha, probably got time for 2 or 3 more if you have any.
Okay. So somebody has said, country of residence, or ordinary residence, and because you're displaced. And I'd like to say just right where you are right now, you've got, that's where you are, but also mention in your application that you are displaced, because we are looking to support scholars who have been displaced. So this will not work against you. Just write, where you are, and then tell us that you have been displaced from your home country. Someone asked, I've applied before for a master's in this program. Is that still valid? No, you need to apply fresh, because those old applications are deleted out of the program. So you need to apply afresh. There's no deferment of applications. You've got to apply afresh. Someone also asked which universities are offering PhDs. So at the moment, Mastercard Foundation Program is offering PhDs in University of Ghana, Makerere University in Uganda, and soon they'll be offering University of Cape Town in South Africa. They're the only countries at the moment that the Mastercard Foundation is offering PhDs for. So that might change in years to come. Someone is also asking about the visa process and whether we pay for it. Yes, I think Ian has already mentioned that once you get your offer, somewhere in April next year, once you've gotten an offer, we take it up from there. So the program will pay for the visa, they'll pay for international health surcharge, they'll pay for your flights, they'll pay for those who have to go to different countries to do their language and TB tests. We do that as a program, we'll support you. So you get all the support that you need. So right now, the main thing is to get your application done, get an offer from the department, and then once you get a scholarship offer, we'll sort you out from that point on. It's a very rounded program and gives you really good support. So it doesn't matter where you're from. Somebody even asked, I'm from Sudan, am I eligible? Every single country on the African continent, from Cairo to Cape Town, name it, you are eligible for the Mastercard Foundation program scholarships here in Cambridge. Okay.
Thank you so much. I think we're about at time. There was one question asking whether we would be sharing the recording of this. Yes, yeah, we'll have this up on our website in the next couple of days. So please do go back and have a look if you'd like to. The other thing to say there is that we've got one more of these sessions, which we're running a week today, actually. So if you fancy coming back again, please feel free to do so. You can register for that on our website. So thank you everyone so much for coming. This has been really, really, really nice sort of interactive session. And it's been brilliant to see that so many countries are clearly represented on this call, which is what our program, really kind of values. So thank you everyone, and do get in touch if you need more information, and good luck with your application.